If you want to get Radiant level aim like many pro players, this is the perfect video for you. The first half of this video is going to be all about aim trainers and training your aim inside of Valorant, and the second half is going to be looking at crosshair placement and pre-aiming and counter-strafing. So let's get started. So before we start, if you haven't already downloaded Aimlab, you can find it for free on the Steam store. It will be linked in the description so you can find it more easily. Personally, I think it's the best free aim trainer on the market, and yeah, all of our exercises today are going to be inside of Aimlab, so just make sure you're ready. Of course, if you want to, you can use another piece of software such as Kovacs, but I'm going to be using Aimlab as it's free and everyone can download it. Firstly, you want to work on small flicks, as this is what's most game realistic. The reason I do so much training on small flicks is because with proper crosshair placement and pre-aiming, you shouldn't need to flick all too often as your crosshair is already on the enemy. So spending your time on the most game realistic scenarios is going to benefit your aim so much. Personally, I put the majority of my Aimlab training time into Microshot Precision or Microshot Ultimate. This exercise really focuses on hitting super small targets and will help you hit headshots in-game, especially if they're super far away. And yeah, once again, I'm going to say if you really want to start improving your aim, precision tasks are the way to go, and of course, the more hours you put in, the better your aim will become. So before we continue any further, I would just want to say my aim didn't become this good overnight. I've spent so many hours in the past 2 weeks especially grinding in Aimlab and in the Valorant range. And if you want Radiant level aim, just make sure you're prepared to put the work in. That's all I have to say. So another thing you want to do to get insane aim is to play a lot of Deathmatch. This helps you work on your crosshair placement across the map, pre-aiming and counter-strafing. But for me, I absolutely hate Deathmatch, so usually I hop in the range, select the 100 kill challenge, stand in the middle of the arena and kill the 100 bots. I do this over and over again, and this helps me to get used to sound cues, crosshair placement, flicks, counter-strafing and small adjustments. The reason I stand in the middle of the range is basically so I'm turning around a lot and I'm not just doing the tiny flicks. It also helps me with, getting used to my mouse, switching around, say if I need to do a big 180 flick in game. Yeah, it just helps with that. So if you want to increase the speed of your flicks, try Gritcha Ultimate or Microshot Speed, but in the range you could also have a go with the medium or hard challenges. And after a good while of aim training, even the hard challenge will become a breeze and you'll zoom through it like it's nothing. So now we're moving on to the second part of the video, which is all about crosshair placement, pre-aiming and counter-strafing. So you hear many pros talking about crosshair placement, but it's actually pretty easy once you know the general gist of it. So all you're really doing is aiming your crosshair at head height. So the reason you actually do this is because if someone runs around the corner, your crosshair is already on their head and you only need to click your mouse. If you can master crosshair placement, you genuinely get so many free kills without even having to move your mouse. Just click the left click button once and you've got a kill. That's how simple this is. So to train this, you could go around a deathmatch or just keep strafing in the range, and yeah, just adjusting your mouse to make sure it's always at head height and you should be good to go. Something else which will also help you improve your aim is pre-aiming. So the whole point of pre-aiming is basically putting your crosshair in a spot that when you peek, you don't need to adjust your crosshair at all. No flicks, nothing. So for example, say if I'm on a ramp on split and I know there's a guy close right. All I need to do is put my crosshair facing the wall, and then I strafe out and look, my crosshair is straight on this guy's head. All I need to do is click. So you'd only really do this if you know exactly where the person is or you're just pre-firing an angle straight off the bat. And this is slightly different to crosshair placement as you're keeping your crosshair exactly in the same place, assuming that the person is already there. So you do this when you're trying to, clear a sight, you're clearing angles, so that if someone is there, you're instantly hitting them in the head. So even if you've done all these exercises and you have amazing aim, you won't be able to hit many shots if you don't have proper counter-strafing. So counter-strafing is basically just pressing A or D or in the opposite direction that you're moving. So what does this mean? This basically means that if you're moving left, you press D, you come to a complete stop. So it's like your character was never moving in the first place and you've been stood still the entire round. So what this does is basically make sure your shot straight after you've counter-strafed is 100% accurate. You could have literally been sat down in a chair for the entire round and get the same accuracy as if you were properly counter-strafing. So once you get good at counter-strafing, you'll literally be able to run around the corner, stop and hit accurate shots almost instantly. And this is especially great with duelists. For example, with flashes, you can just run around with the flash and get a free kill. So how do you counter-strafe? Basically, if you're moving left, you'd want to press D to stop as D moves you right. And if you're moving right, you want to press A to stop as A moves you left. You can also do this moving forwards and backwards by pressing W and S, but this is quite a lot harder, so I wouldn't recommend it. So if you are going to be strafing, make sure it's with A and D as it's significantly easier. Proper counter strafing also allows you to properly peek corners instead of shift peeking corners. As shift peeking corners, you're a lot slower and it's a lot easier for the enemy to hit, especially if they're opping. So with proper peeking corners, you can be quick and you can jiggle back into cover if you need to, or proper counter strafe and hit the headshot. So here's an example now. You're probably seeing it on the screen. But yeah, I just peek around this corner and it's just a free one tap on this guy. So guys, that is all for this video, and thanks for watching. And if you did enjoy, make sure to please like and subscribe and comment any other video ideas you have. I have a ton of ideas, but I'd love to see what you guys would like me to post. Either it's tips and tricks, VOD reviews, just general tips on how to get better, gameplay, challenges. Just let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys soon.